Alrighty, good evening, everybody. We should be good to go. There we go. What's up? I'm gonna go ahead and go live. Oh shit, I put live trading up. 1 second. Alrighty. Woo! Excuse me. Bet you all are awake now. Alrighty. Let everybody take a minute here so everybody can hop in the stream. What's up? Good evening. Good evening. Give everybody here just a moment. Then we're going to go ahead and get started. What's up? Good evening. Make sure you guys leave a like. Those of you guys returning viewers, I appreciate that. Alrighty, y'all. Few more minutes here. What's up, Swahili Trader TV? So Rick, Kenneth, Richard, what's up, y'all? What's up, Rocco, Salmon, Victor? What's good, everybody? We're good to go on that. All right. All right, I think people can kind of catch up from here. What's up, Sonny? Good evening. Good evening, everybody. All right, let's see. Any new headlines here? For a beginner, would buying spreads be better and have less risk than regular call or put option? I mean, you got to be good at spreads too. Oftentimes, yes, if you stick to a specific plan, they can be a little bit. There's a cap at how much you can make per position, and I think that's often a deterrent from some people. So I'm still holding on to that. I'm gonna call March 4th. Oh, we did cut that in our Discord, so might be good for a bounce still in range. What a weird market day. Absolutely. I'm just getting settled, guys. Kenneth, I'm getting there, but doing well. Doing well. All right. You guys have anybody you want to share this with? Go ahead and do that. I do appreciate that. Just sharing this on my Twitter. Alrighty, y'all. Let's go ahead and get started. I am streaming on TikTok. Lifting P just came in and chose violence, but we got, where we're gonna put him. And looks like a whole movie character. Alrighty. Alright, so right off the bat, guys, we're gonna go over the closing prices. So crazy. So we have the S&P down 1.1%, NASDAQ 1.23%, the Russell down 1.45%, and the Dow Jones down 1.42%. Now today was absolutely bonkers on other fields, including SMH, which I was watching today as it pretty much just bounced around. You saw a huge pullback, break of support, fake out, and then a big reversal, and then again losing almost all the ground that it had gained. DWAC was up around 10% today. Still kind of it looks like a cup and handle there, but still I would argue that this is more of a rising wedge. But regardless, this one was up 10%. We had AMLX around 13.17%. Home Depot, which had earnings, they plunged to around, I think, 8.85% on earnings. So you saw them moving from the opening price of 335 down to a low of 313. So earnings, Palo Alto accelerated 6.5% in extended trading after beating on top and bottom revenue. That was, I think a couple people took a position on that one. I did call out levels, but this one has seemingly lost a lot of that ground. Let's go see. Okay, it's back up there. So it's sitting around the 507 level. That's right around that point of control. It actually rejected the point of control. Oftentimes, depending on the move, you can almost think of like the move as the strength on a pullback, or the strength for the move, or the distance to the next supply that it can travel. And this is a good example. The news was pretty good, but obviously not like superstar earnings there. Teladoc tanked about 7.35% on 2-year lows despite earnings and sales beat. The telemedicine provider reported guidance for full year 2020 revenue between 2.55 billion and 2.65 billion. Sleep. No. So the overall sentiment today, guys, so major political indexes opened the week, of course, on the poor note, largely due to an insane amount of geopolitical turmoil right now. President Biden called Russia's advance into Ukraine an invasion, and the S&P rolled over about 1.01%. The Dow drove 1.42% down. The NASDAQ, of course, 1.23% down. Other than that, guys, we did have some economic calendar events. Consumer confidence, PMI came in, neither of which really jolted the market in a what I would say a considerable direction either way. But you did see that data point come in. Tomorrow, guys, a lack of data where we had the MBA mortgage applications. I'm not quite sure if Powell or Biden is speaking, but of course that news is ever oncoming and always going on right now as the situations in eastern or in Ukraine are taking place. So worth noting, February 23rd. So oftentimes it's not worth being short-sighted and only looking at the earnings that are coming up. The economic events for the next day, but rather as we close towards the end of the day, it's worth observing how these can possibly start bleeding into the sentiment. And we're going to talk about that here in just a little bit. So we do have initial claims, continuing claims, new home sales, GDP deflators, estimate, and EAI gas inventories as well. As far as the earnings calendar, we did have Maxar with a beat. Obviously, not everybody's familiar with this one. They did move up to and close around $28.20. But tomorrow, and we took a couple of different positions. I'm going to pull that up here and go over the positions that we took. I'll recap the trades that we took today. We did have a red day, but it was so definitively, obviously a red day, but all in all, a good day because we stayed within our risk and we didn't lose. You don't want to lose. It's inevitable that we're going to lose money. It's just we don't want to lose a lot, and we want to stay within our risk. And so you should never be down on yourself or whatever. If you have small red days, as long as you cut at your stop loss, then that's really not. It's worth borderline celebrating, I would say. So Earnings tomorrow. We took JMIA positions. We have an 8.50 call and a $7 put. Those are for fun. They were $32 and $42. We took a space $6 put and a $7 or $9 call. Again, a cheap gamble, kind of whatever. Baba still holding on to those positions, as we do have earnings coming up on, I believe Baba is on Thursday. That's correct. Yeah. So Baba is on Thursday. But tomorrow, Overstock, which moved actually tonight up, I think it was like 6%. Clover Health, eBay, again, Jamia, Lemonade, which is worth keeping your eyes on. Lowe's, which doesn't move a lot. We talked about that today. It's kind of a dinosaur, VIPS. Still holding on to that mRNA put as well. Those of you guys who, those are up 21%. Baba puts are up around, I guess considering the Baba puts, I'm not even considering those profits. We technically were green, I guess, today because we did close out one of them. But profit is not profit until you take it. So, Potter, what does TikTok pay you? Jack shit. Absolutely nothing. mRNA, dump. How do we play it cool off the chance we go to war? I'll cut it. We buy puts and grab our ass. So thank you guys for the likes. I appreciate that. Okay, so some of the sanctions, this is worth noting. President Biden imposes severe cost on Russia for its invasion of Ukraine. Full blocking sanctions on 2 Russian financial institutions with close links to the Kremlin. Cutting off Russia from the US dollar financing. Full blocking sanctions on 5 Russian elites and their family members. Worked with Germany to ensure the Nord Stream 2 will not move forward. So obviously these are things that can impact our market, and if they conclude and clamp down on more sanctions, we could see that affect markets worldwide. So I did see uranium was up, and I was curious as to why that was. But what were the Baba puts? I have a $95 put for this week, $80 put for March 18th. All right, so a recap though for today. So we did take an Apple call. I'm not sure. I think I made $1 on that. We did have, it was up around, I think, about 25%. We were playing this one as it went for its gap fill. It did not go and close that gap, unfortunately pulling back down to support 162.14. And we're going to talk about the setup on Apple because it is going to continue, or is going to be on the watch list tomorrow, as it does have 2 gaps to the upside and a gap to the downside. So it is actually going to be a primary focus, and one that I'm going to try and show you guys a bit about scaling in different contracts, as in i.e. taking long expiration target based contracts and using and utilizing shorter expiration contracts and setting up spreads here. So hold on a second. So we did take Apple, and that one, great cut. We ended up hitting our stop, so we cut it. We did lose out on about, I think it was around $40 on a 123 February 25th AMD call. This one had a good setup, market fell through. We did take profit on a Baba put. I believe I bought those for like $20 and sold them for $46. And that's about it, other than the earnings plays. I did cut Macy's probably a little bit too soon, but it is what it is. So if you guys have chart requests, please hop on the YouTube, hit the link in my bio, and I will take some charting requests shortly. So now in regards, to the watch list. So mRNA, of course, stayed in range, continues to be on my watch list going into tomorrow. Macy's, however, and I dare even utter its name, but I'm not going to let it deter me from a good setup. We are currently sitting at what looks to be the second bounce. There is a gap on Macy's here. You can see this shaded area. And I'm going to bring this down a bit because I think that basically below $24, we're going to get that 23.35 flush. And this is what I would possibly, I would call it a triple top here, just from the latest price action. So you have that triple top. You had earnings, they did well, and investors were not convinced. So we dropped like a hot rock. This is actually a play that, regrettably, I would have loved to have taken to the downside, but I had to go buy a car, so which I didn't do either. So we didn't get to, didn't find anything that I liked. I don't want to buy like an expensive car before I get my Tesla trucks, so I'm just waiting. All right, so Macy's, Apple, let's see. Oh, let me go over Neo. So again, today Neo kind of hit support. This one still has an interesting and definitely reachable gap. I do think, guys, that this one is going to bounce, and I'm going to show you guys that there is corresponding setups across the market. So there's likely going to be similar movement to the upside, which will likely set us up for a continuation to the downside. So Neo looks as if it's going to bounce on this trend line, and you guys are going to see that this setup and that I'm going to draw here is actually one that is, again, cascading across the market. So predicting a gap fill, there's a small gap on Neo 2294 all the way to 2317. I say all the way like it's a big distance. So I expect that gap to get filled. The point of control, it depends on how we move. The longer that we wait, the less distance that we can move. So hopefully we get a strong push to the upside for Neo, but I'm predicting that we'll see Neo around 24.35 or the point of control at 23.82. So I'm setting alerts, and I'm going to do that now at 23.10. I'm going to set an alert here at 22.85, and I'm going to set an alert on this trend line, right? That's why if you're not setting alerts while you're charting, there's no point. I will say that running it off of this wick, you will see that there is kind of a correlation between the resistance and the 200-day EMA on the hourly for Neo. So love your eye color. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Bro, I couldn't stick to the plan, lost on SPY, had puts and got scared of a fake breakout. Yeah, I'm short vaccines. I'm going to go ahead and go over Apple. So here's Apple, and again, this is just simply a projection. Here's a good mark right here. This is 162.25. There is a gap on Apple, so set alerts 162.85 and 162.25, as we would like to see Apple down to 160. So there is a profitable play to the downside. Now to the upside, there's also a pretty profitable play and multiple profitable plays, as we do have a gap right here, small gap, unfilled. And that's likely going to be a target. Now, if you look at this setup right here, and you look at the gaps to the upside, it does appear that there's a decent chance to potentially go and fill this gap at 172.50, and that's possibly the contract that I'm going to be taking to the upside. It just makes the most sense. The delta on it is good. And I think we were going with the March 18th contracts on that one. But we have a couple trigger points. I want to see Apple break above 165.35. And guys, I've got a lot of questions as what are the, like, when you're scalping, and I think that this is a universal diagnosis, but a lot of people, when they are doing multiple different kinds of trading, which can be detrimental if you're not good at one, is they blend their analysis or active analysis, where they may have a long idea that needs 2 weeks of expiration, but rather they go with a weekly, and therefore their contract is not paying out or is decaying quicker than they expected. Um, and then vice versa, that can happen as well. Do I use Elliott waves on my charts? Not all the time. I prefer Elliott waves in bullish cycles, not bearish. So, um, but anyway, a lot of people ask me, how do you get the perfect entry, or what's the perfect entry? That's not really doesn't exist. Obviously, if you're a scalper, you want to you want to avoid low volume, you want to avoid a choppy SPY, you want to avoid a lack of a catalyst, and those are things that would obviously be detrimental for a scalper utilizing shorter expiration contracts that would likely decay rather quickly, and you would just lose money. Now, that doesn't apply to us when we're looking at a hourly or 4-hour chart where we see a setup like this. Again, if I see a 4-hour setup, a resistance at 172.50, the whole ribbon indicator's backing me up on that. I've got a load of indicators sitting at the 168.80 level. So at least, and to boot, we have got the 200-day EMA, which we finished above. If you skip out to the daily, really nice daily close on this candle. So there's only one thing to do, is to scale in. I'm going to grab a longer expiration contract. And here's the thing, this strategy is scalable. I wouldn't say infinitely, but it is scalable to the point where if it breaks above 165.30, I'm setting an alert. I need to know when it breaks above. So we're going to go ahead and set another alert at 164.90. Now, these things need to be adjusted in the morning, just in case. But for Apple, I would like to see a break above 165.25. That's likely going to lead us up to 166.28. So depending on how we open, I'm not going to build a strategy for something that doesn't exist yet. We don't know how we're going to open. And if we open up and we're down in this gap, guys, everything changes and we're going to re-strategize. It doesn't change the key levels. It doesn't necessarily always change the setup, but it does change what we have to do to prepare for taking these trades. But above that level 165, I'd like to take a 170 March 18th, possibly, and possibly as a 172.50 March 18th contract, and then I would also like to utilize March 4th at the 170 strike, as well as weekly contracts one step out of the money. And I think that even on a small account, given the volatility and the proper catalyst, I think that we could see a decent move to the upside. I am seeing a potential pennant or triangle. And with that being said, this is the 1, 2, and this is my projection because we need to confirm this bounce. But I would like to see us possibly go and fill that gap. So that's kind of what I'm thinking here on Apple. That's about it. So, Exxon. What's up, trading with manners? Whole sweep by Silico. All right, today sucked. I made $77. Rick, Pauline. I'm not trying to harp on you, but that's good. That's good. Even if it's not even close to your profit target. If today sucked and you made money, dude, there's more. You're among the people who did, or I would say the smaller percentage. Because anybody who was trying to force trades today got smoked. Hell yeah, Maxar. What's on the screen? This is Apple. Overstock thoughts. I'll have to take a look at it. All right. I've been scooping kitty litter. Nice. Is that because of what I said earlier? Status on the Oculus giveaway. I am and had to delay it. It was not fair for everybody, obviously, who was waiting because I was moving. I didn't expect to find a house 3 days before I had to move, as I had delayed my moving date like 2 times, even when I was not supposed to. So it kind of delayed the whole giveaway thing, but we are going to run that back. Just wait for the TikTok. I'm going to talk to the social media manager, and we'll get that rolling probably within the week. So this is Apple on my screen. So drone delivery companies, don't they have to clear through some FFA regulations before they do any of that? Thoughts on funware? Not even that fun. I'm sorry. Alrighty, so if you guys have any requests, again, please type those in the YouTube channel, and I will take those now. So the market maker that runs your mom, what does it YM mean? Wait, what? Oh, never mind. I don't know why I thought that was your mom. Oh my god, what a mess. By the way, don't forget AMD. AMD also has a pretty gnarly setup as well. I'm thinking this one might have some firework type movement. Whoa, oh my god, I just lost lower back hemisphere. PayPal is soaring. What do you mean by soaring? What do you mean by that? All right, so it looks like we got Datadog. So Datadog is the first request. Well, I can tell you right now that obviously you've got a pretty gnarly looking buildup right there. This is the hourly setup. I'm just starting here because that's what it opened up as. But that looks like, pretty much looks like a falling wedge. Take a step out. Looks like I got fib set up on this thing. We'll rock with it. So this actually looks like a cup and handle, and or a inverse head and shoulders, depending on how this moves. So if we move like that, inverse head and shoulders, but if we just get a strong bounce and breakout there, then I would imagine we'll see this breakout as a cup and handle. Ultimately, there it was low volume, so you saw a decent volume pullback 2 days in a row. Today you had the lowest volume. That means that we're losing strength. So I would imagine tomorrow I'll put a PT of 155.70 as a bounce spot, and the remainder of the gap will get filled. From there, watch a bounce back up in around 165.44. And then from there, I'd actually be eyeballing a potential gap fill to the upside to 173.75, depending on the market. So otherwise, below 152.85, I would imagine we'll see some downside from Datadog. So, but worth setting some alerts on for sure. Interesting setup. I like it a lot. FNF. Okay. I might be able to look at that in just a minute. You guys are on TikTok, make sure to leave a like. Appreciate it. Hold on. All right, so FNF Group, Fidelity, National Financial, National Treasure Hunt. All right. Let's take a little step back here because I've never looked at this thing before. Let's look at the weekly, and that is, damn, they were selling shares for weeks, and this thing hit. Oh my god! All right, well, right off the bat, you've got a really crazy price action. I've seen this before, where they'll run a stock up kind of similar to this, give you a nice clean trend line. Look at that, really crazy. This is not outside of the rising wedge capabilities, I guess if you want to put it that way. Anyway, at the moment, it has earnings. So if you're looking for level that's 53, or excuse me, February 23rd. I don't know why I'm saying 53. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up my pivot points here. I figured it was at an S1, and we've got S2. Notice how S2 is at the bottom of this volume shelf at 43.65. Look at that. How do I use volume profile? Well, this is how I look and back up levels. How strong are the levels? Volume profile. That's what I use it for. So I'm going over here, and I'm going and I'm on my own without even seeing that. I could go over, boom. I see that this is obviously a strong level across the board. Maybe I come back over here and I see, okay, boom, we break out here, we hold. This is a flush point. So once we lost that level, so looking at FNF and looking at the volume profile and its current trajectory, I'll give you a 43.40 price target based on this trend reversing target. And if you guys remember anything I say about rising wedges or anything of that nature, it's a 50% retracement oftentimes, at least, that you'll see of the entire pattern from top to bottom. And that's pretty much, you stopped. Look at that. Look at where we've held at that 50% mark. So we at the moment have the 9-day moving average, 50-day moving average, all pointing straight down, going for the EMA crossover. So I would imagine a bit of chop. I can't tell you how long that's going to take. That could be another 2 weeks, another week. Possible retest of 48.65. Maybe even look, this is a pretty sweet bear flag. Look for something like that to form. But the current trajectory, I would say, is to the downside. And then looking at the pivot points for to back up my target, I would say again 43.40 is a good target to the downside for this one. So. If you guys have any requests, hop on my YouTube channel, link in the bio. If you guys are on YouTube, make sure to leave a like. I appreciate you guys. There's 54 of you guys in there. The algorithms will assassinate me if you don't. No, I appreciate it, guys. I want an open. I thought you said you want to open an Exxon. I'm like, damn. What are you doing trading? Next one is DKS. All right, another dead one. Dick's Sporting Goods. Damn, Richard. There's no way. That's not going to end up being a triangle. I see no reason why that's a thing. That is crazy price action. Look at that. I see this as a viable trend line. Look at the core, the confluence. S3 85.55. Huh? Oh. But also, oh my God, that's so good. Look at that. Gap fill. This is a good chart. This is a good setup. Dix is falling. That's not funny, Peyton. You're gonna get me banned off of. See that? See what I have to live with? How shit is that? Bro, I want to be as knowledgeable as you. Dude, just crush it, man. Can you give a shout out to Amanda? Wife's taking crazy. What's up, Amanda? If you want to learn it, my Discord has a ton of information for free, and please utilize the YouTube channel. If it says that you can't comment, that's because you need to wait like 5 minutes. That's so you don't leave, because you can't leave. You just stay here forever. No, just kidding. Yeah, no, tell her to ask questions. That's what I'm here for. So looking at Dick's Sporting Goods, you got one or two things here. This is pretty unusual, but you are at a key level. That's $99.22. Look across the board, bounce there, the top of this resistance. So we want that to break. Now, there is a good possibility that you'll retest levels around 104. I would say maybe even as high as 105 before continuing to the downside, and you want that. But at the end of the day, I would say that even taking a long 87, and I'm going to go look at the premiums, and I'll tell you what I would want to take if I decide, and how I would do it is I would just buy one. I would just buy one and set a good stop loss on it. Maybe say, watch it. If it goes above 101, start watching for the rejection. If you see a nice rejection off of 105, take a nice little position, or I would take a nice little starting position. And for me, obviously, we want some time behind this thing. March 25th, March 4th, April 14th. Oh, God. But that's 85. Hold on a second. So the open interest on the $80 put is telling, the spread's a little wonky, but is telling of people placing bets to the downside here. I will say there is a huge lack of open interest on the call side. March 25th, which is about a month away, which is not a bad contract. March 25th, well, I'd say either if you could afford it, the spreads is what I'm worried about, and you're automatically going to be down, and that's the kicker here, is you're gonna want to what is this? There we go. Okay. Let's see, March 18th. So obviously you need to be closer to the money. March 18th. Yeah, I would say, God, that's $100 spread. I would say the $80 puts or $85, or excuse me, I would say $90 puts. And that would be the closest. I would say March 25th. Those are, again, the open interest on those, or the spread on those is a little crazy for my taste. So I don't know if I would necessarily target those. But there is a better spread at the April 1st. Actually, no, that's worse. But yeah, this one has a good setup to continue to potentially fall to the downside, but I would be long. The Discord link is in my channel. So. How do I draw my trend lines? Pattern recognition skills that I've developed from drawing trend lines over and over and over and over. Oftentimes just kind of like math. It's just like kind of math in the brain, but yeah, okay, I see this now. This was a correction. Oh, earnings. Gotcha. So they're just not even counting that. They just kept that in a trend. Where, the link is in my bio. All right. All right, trade desk. Trade desk. Oof. This is actually pretty cool because this looks like a pretty sweet rejection. There you are. So take a look at that. So you've got a bounce level. Now look at this. Look at this. Almost a hammer. It's gravestone. We've got a gravestone on a daily. We're hovering right above the pivot, 72.50, or excuse me, 72.57. You got 71 right underneath that. I would say it looks like your support's hovering around 70 even. So there's a lot underneath you. But below that, I would say trade desk to the downside. This is a rejection, obviously. So if we're counting, you could see a bounce off of pivot and a continuation down to the downside. But look at this. There's resistance, right? Entry, or if you're looking for just taking something, and then you could consider either pivot or this wick right there. So 71.80. So I would say 71.80 and 82.50. You need it to break either way out of those ranges. So. Who did? What kids? We have kids.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you.
What?
One's coming up on 3 and 8. So sorry.
Yep. It's stressful.
Hey, got about 1 for
Pivot point standard. Yeah. When she was pregnant, yeah, I'm a dad. I have 2 kids. When she was pregnant with my son, she was visibly pregnant, and I would like look at the doctor sometimes when they were giving her an ultrasound, and I remember they told us after we found out the sex, they were like, "Oh my God, he's definitely." I was like, "They're like, it's definitely a boy," and I was like, "Wait." Oh no, she goes, "You're definitely pregnant," and I was like, "Wait, she's pregnant?" And I did it with like such a face that I caught this lady off guard. She legitimately thought I was just somehow looking past my fiance's stomach for months. And yeah, that was pretty good. We just, is this my day job? Yeah, and my night job. But I enjoyed that a lot. That made me happy. Plus she had gas. Sorry, Pete. What was what you be thinking? Is your chart published in your trading view? Yes. Have you ever got rug pulled? Nah, I don't get into stuff like that. Almost. Well, no, never mind. I got rug pulled by Donnie. The old Donald. All right, Facebook's on everybody's mind, so we're gonna take a look at Facebook here. All right, so I actually have this one already charted out. Now, it's important to use multiple different levels, so check it out. Facebook 194.93. Catch that one. I think you bounce big time at 195 on Facebook. It does have that bearish look to it. It can bounce here. If it bounces here, we've got a wedge. If it bounces here, or i.e. gaps down and then fills gap up, or gaps up, fills gap, bounces, it's going to hit 210, 210.50, 210.11.50, somewhere in that range. I would put my my money on 212 as a potential target here for Facebook. But this one does appear to have that rising or that falling wedge. But mind you, what did I just say? Snapchat did too, and that didn't go anywhere. Hey Peyton, will you grab me another one of those Atlanta ones? The Atlanta thing in the fridge. How does a pivot point work? So you know the volume profile that I use? Essentially, it finds the highest volume levels, or what we can consider being the strongest levels, and it marks it out for you. And you'll find that they line up with fib levels. They line up with a couple of different key levels. And do you think the 1 hour is the best pivot? No, I think the daily and the hourly together. All right. All right, so those of you who have Exxon, excuse me, this one has what appears to be a daily bull flag. I don't like the whole ribbon indicator change. It is sitting at a key level here. It bounced off of the 75.42 level, which, as you can see here, was a main rejection point before. So I would like to see Exxon above 78.15, and then a push above that $80.16 for what will likely be a bumping ride, 81.38 and 82.72 for the next level, which is going to be 86.42. One thing that you can do is step down here to this lower time frame, take out those pivot points, pop this trend line here, and pop a trend line there. And you got what looks to be a pretty perfect channel on Exxon right now. Yes, the Fibonacci levels on the pivot point standard are relatively accurate. They rival, they're kind of the same. They all kind of fluctuate around the same level. I don't really, and there's so many different indicators, but I've just settled with the standard because it tends to just give me the median, if you will. So how do you determine if a contract is expensive or not? A contract is going to be expensive based on your account. $100,000 account is not going to blink at a Spotify contract, but a Spotify contract is extremely expensive for a small account. So, yuck. This shit makes my eyes fall. Nice. Nordic. You didn't finish reading my comment through pivots. Oh, sorry. You're catching me live, ADHD. You can't set pivot points to fib levels. They are very good on the standard setting, though. Wow. Well, that's why we finished reading things. So anyway, Exxon set some levels here. We've got 76.93, or we're gonna call it 77. All right, it's never a singular level percent zone, so I would say right about there. That's going to allow you to push up into the 77.50 and what I would project the 78.11 level. At that point, that's going to be where I was just talking about. We need to push up. That's going to be 50% of the candle that we lost. That being said, Exxon can and will take another little pop down, maybe even hitting the 74.80s or 74.90s. But if you're looking to the upside, those are a couple levels. One of the reasons why I'm thinking upside is because this is 1, 2, and I think we need a third. So I'm going to set an alert on this because I think that it will hit that trend line before ultimately going back down or going up or down. So. All right, PayPal on the hourly time frame appears to be in this little descending channel. I think sellers are kind of exhausted, y'all, and I think that on any type of bullish news, we could expect a potential bounce all around. And I think PayPal is a big time candidate for one of those bounce levels. If you take a look at the pivot points here, you're going to see that we just crossed below the S3. You'll notice that it's around $83.44 that we see the next level, or the next main level. And I have fib set up there. I don't see any like crazy targets, but at the moment, I would say, obviously $100, 95, but ultimately, I think if you lose 100, guys, PayPal losing 100 is bad news. So I would like to see PayPal back above, I'm going to say 107.85, back up above 107.85, retest, watch for 112, and then watch for the 120 level. If we go up, if we do continue down, then a loss of 97 and $90 would probably give us that price target. So, oh, yo, KC, thanks for the speakers, man. I appreciate that, dude. Affirm did crap the pants. So, is day trading a better job in regards to a typical 95? Here's what I want to send out as a big message. Life is a lot more than just day trading. I don't know of any small child who would wake up and dream about trading stocks. The thing and the truth of all of this is we're all doing this to make money, and because we need money to buy things. And most, just your average wages don't cut it, and a lot of people. And then even if you do have wages that cut it, you still want to be able to leverage your money. And that's exactly what you need to do with your time and what you need to think of this. A full-time trader is exposed to the market all day, right? A full-time trader is exposed all day. You, as a retail trader, want to be exposed as little to the market. And if you're going to be, unless you want to go to New York City or wherever and go trade at a firm or whatever the case may be, or start your own, I would highly recommend not aiming towards, and I am not and would not consider myself a full, and I don't think that anybody on TikTok, and I would say it to their faces, is a full-time day trader. I think that they want to be full-time day traders, but the fact of the matter is a full-time day trader is doing shit, not looking for $80 contracts at 12:30 in the afternoon. In my opinion, the best thing to do is leverage your time, right? And the investments that you make and this may be way more than you asked for, but my goal and what I think that is a helpful goal, because I don't want to say that it should be y'all's goal, because what y'all are doing this for, you may just want to get rich. Okay, and that's fine. If you want to get rich and you want a Lambo, win Lambo, well, Lambo's when you get it and when you earn it. But that may be what you want. And so for that, that's your motivation. And maybe becoming a full-time day trader is on your list of things to do. But for me, I think that utilizing as little bit of time in the market in order to maximize your investments, or to add, think of it as like if you have a wage or you have something that you're pursuing, you're utilizing the markets to make money. I would never say to try and aim for supplemental income until it happens. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's like, just trade the best you can until you can trade when you want. And that's when you could consider yourself a trader, or somebody who is a full-time trader. Not a full-time trader, but a trader. And that's what I say, the break-even point for me was, and I told you guys this before, I started with the $500 accounts. I blew them over and over again until I found what worked for me. I traded those accounts. I hit 10K from 500, 10K, put it all away, started from 5K, 500 again, to prove to myself that I was what I said I was. And I did that over and over again until you look back, you've got $90,000 in a bank account, right? And then you can start trading when you want to, trading when the market offers the opportunity, because guess what? You can leverage a little bit of what the overall amount is to make a substantial income, or a substantial amount that could cover the week, right? And that's the goal, is to get there. But in my opinion, if you're just starting off, aim small, right? And have a reasonable goal, and work towards it. I'm not trying to deter you from being anything, or shooting for the stars, or being the best trader that you can be. Be the best trader that you can be, but don't put so much pressure on yourself to be a literal stockbroker trader, as that's who you are, what you do. And I've had people ask, should I drop out of school to do? No, absolutely not. Don't get a job. Don't, all that stuff. But anyway, I'm sorry for ranting. What worked for you? Swing trading with long expiration contracts. So, but anyway, the less time that you spend in the market that is designed to take your money, the more likely you can Robin Hood that shit, take what you want, and leave. You need to know how to leave. You need to know when there's certain. We build a trading plan, and I feel like it's about time that I open up my laptop and I read the trading plan off again, for possibly people here on TikTok, on how the 9 steps to building your own trading plan. Maybe we'll do that as a finisher. So thank you for the like there on YouTube and here on TikTok. I appreciate that, everybody. ConocoPhillips. This one I am going to give you a 80 right off the bat, without even really doing much analysis. You're going to your pivot point. I'm going to call it 83.55. So look at the massive engulfment candle here on the daily. Look at the whole ribbon indicator flipping red. I would imagine potentially a doji or two tomorrow, and then a pullback to 84.50 as the first stop. HD, what tips would you recommend for swings? What would you look for technicals and fundamentals? I would be looking for, number one, a catalyst, a good catalyst. Earnings, or not going into earnings, but after earnings. I would want market cooperation, a solid trend, good volume. Obviously, you're looking for a setup. You're just looking for the setup on a higher time frame, because more than likely it's going to set the way that you close on the daily is worth observing towards the end of the day in order to see what possible movement could be next. So and start leaking into something. Ooh, my nose. Can I get a thumbs up in the chat if you guys would like me to go over the 9 steps on how to build your own trading plan? It's just how to build it. But if you guys want that, let me get a thumbs up in the chat. What's my take on Golden Group? Sounds miserable. I don't know what it is though. I have not used Rose Active Trader. All right, cool. Well, it is 9:30, so we'll go ahead and we're gonna go ahead do that now. All right, so if you guys don't mind, make sure to leave a like in the chat if you guys are digging the stream or found it helpful, useful. Share it if you don't mind. And we're going to go ahead and go over these. I'd like to give credit to CryptoBurb, as he is a co-founder, guiding light on this setup. So let me look at some good setups. Let's look at some good risk management first. Let's look at building our trading plan first, because I think it's a good thing to do here. All right. So if you guys want, get your pencils out. I know there's a lot of people leaving on TikTok. A lot of people leave on TikTok whenever I talk about risk management. Talk about building your own plan, doing it for yourself. That's that I want to teach the people who want to do it for themselves, who don't need me. All right. So we're going to call this the necessary mindset for building a trading system. All right, everybody got their notes? Everybody taking notes? All right, so number one, I'm screen recording. I need you, Garrett. Oh God, and I need you too. All right, well, don't screen record that. All right, so number one, lean towards a non-discretionary, non-judgmental, mechanical system for which the rules are clear and constant. This means that you're not going to be the most exciting trader on the block. You're not going to be the most flashy, but you're going to get it done. And this requires for you to operate within the system that you build as if the walls are made of magma. You know, like, you do not cross the line, you do not compromise, and especially at the beginning, when you're really trying to build, you should be very strict. Now, I will say that there is room for risk when you're starting off with a new account, if it is within your risk, right? And it basically means it doesn't matter if you lose it. And that's hard to come by with a small account, but oftentimes we have to take risk in order to make a few leaps here and there. But we're leaning towards a basically a robotic system for which the rules are clear and constant. So think about it as if you were a computer and you were given a task and you have to do it no matter what. You're just the person clicking the button. Yo, thank you for the heart. Damn, I really appreciate that. Thank you. Number two, profits are made from reacting to the market. So those of you who are taking trades because you think, not because you see, or taking hopium type trades, or what, like, you're convinced you have a emotional bias, those are things that are going to lose you money. We only make money by reacting to what is available, what we see. Good price action, nice movement from SPY. Okay, we see a gap here, we're moving down. All right, we've got the right prerequisites. We're reacting in a way that is going to allow us to profit from that situation. We're not playing our predictions, right? We're only if they play out, but we're only reading and reacting. So you guys will hear me say that constantly throughout the trading day, and that's what we're going to focus on. Number three, and this is huge, guys. I just got the chills. So big. Pause. Weird. All right. So number three. Understand that losses will occur. Now, this is the hardest for most individuals because nobody wants to lose money. And if you're attached to the money in your account, which is hard not to be, right? You hope that your money goes in and does something and helps you because that's what you're doing it for. You want it to help. But unfortunately, the same thing that will get you in will get you out. If you really do too much hoping and too many expectations. Expectations are usually the cause of most pain. And so therefore, oftentimes the expectations to free yourself of your financial burdens in the first week of trading is probably not a great way to start. So understanding that losses will occur is obviously something to keep in mind. And it is an integral part of trading. Oftentimes, breaking your stop loss and not cutting when you say you're going to cut is a part of the process, because if you didn't learn before, you will when you lose money. And it's the bad thing, just like humans do. When we get burnt, we touch something, we get burnt, and oftentimes that will lead us to a new discovery and an adjustment. Now we're going to talk about these type of events and breaking your stop loss and stuff like that. So all right, so that's number 3. Now number 4, we're going with a bummer. All right, another dampening rule. Understand that profits will not always happen consistently. Oh my God. What's happening right now, guys? What's happening right now? The market is not giving us consistent gains, but we can be okay with that, because the fact of the matter is sometimes Facebook drops for a record amount, or arms deals get dropped, or price upgrades and downgrades come in, or acquisitions get announced. There are more plays in our future, and it's impatience, right? Have you guys ever, I'm sure you guys have seen, they have like kids in a room, and they give them a marshmallow. They say, hey, you'll get more marshmallows if you wait. And a lot of the kids will not. They'll eat the marshmallow rather than wait for more marshmallows. So having that delayed gratification, and that's essentially what it is, right? Because if you guys think about this in our brain, when you make big gains, what is that euphoria? That's a serotonin burst. And that's going to affect your learning process, right? And that's why oftentimes I tell people, be careful about those giant gains that you make and letting them adjust the way that you trade in the future, because when you break risk management, that's a terrible example. But understanding that profits are not always going to happen consistently is understanding that you have to be able to identify when the market is showing the best volatility, whatever it is you're looking for, right? You sell premiums, whatever it is you're looking for, a chop or a pump, and a lot of fake outs, or whatever the case may be, short, long, it doesn't matter. But understanding that there are going to be days where you just can't trade. You will not be able to take a trade. There's not going to be any money there for you, or you're going to miss the trade. I think that the hardest thing is there's just a lot of tough lessons, a lot of tough pills to swallow when it comes to trading, because the face of trading, right, all came from people hyping people up with fancy cars, a bunch of bullshit, right? That's the majority of what we're seeing. And a lot of the reasons why a lot of us got into it, because we wanted something better for ourselves. But that's not always that, like I said earlier, the same thing that will get you in will get you out. And when you get in because of the wrong reasons, or you get in because of that very reason, then oftentimes you'll run into issues like that, like being impatient, not allowing or being able to identify the setups that are needed in order to take these trades. So understanding that profits will not happen consistently. Be okay from walking away. Is that a t-shirt? Did I just come up with a t-shirt idea? So if it's not, and it's, again, yeah, somebody said it doesn't come easy. It does not come easy. It is not easy. It is not fun, but it is the right thing to do, and it will make you money more consistently than somebody who does not implement that. Now here's a big one. Number 5, emotions may make you tweak your system. Learn to regulate them. All right. So once we start to establish a system, let's say that Apple, okay, we have Apple, where's my mouse? Based on our projection, okay, that we talked about. And tomorrow, Apple chops around a little bit. We see a good place to take a position, and the market rallies, right? Putin decides to pull out, pause, and this breaks to the upside, rips, and we're in. Okay, now we're up 150, 160%. We didn't TP where we were supposed to. Either because because it moved past or blew past our target and just kept ripping. If you do that again, you're gonna get burned, right? And you may not get burned the next time, but you're gonna get burned eventually. Sometime it's gonna happen. And so whether you want to wait for that to come and bite you in the ass, or whether you want to be your own boss, your own warden, your own disciplinarian, your own guru, and say, absolutely not. I made my money and I got really, really lucky, and I'm going to use this opportunity to put myself or push me forward even faster. Not gamble more, not do more stupid stuff. Excuse my language, or excuse me, not calling anybody stupid, but that's kind of the thing there. So let's go. Honestly, the worst thing that has happened to me was the Facebook play. I've been chasing that play again. So what do we I'm going to tell you guys one of the worst things that ever happened to me. $56,000 on DWAC, right? In a matter of minutes. Worst thing that ever happened to me. Other traders who have made hundreds of thousands of dollars in one day. We know them, they're a part of our group. All of a sudden, they make these big gains and we stop hearing from them. Not necessarily like they've gone MIA, but they're a little bit more quiet. They're struggling because everything that they were doing before has gone out the window because they changed what they were building, and now it's a different building. You can't do that. So if you get lucky, write it down in your journal, kiss it, and light it on fire. No, I'm just kidding. But write it down, count your blessings, set that money aside, and pretend like it never happened because it was a fluke. You didn't make the stock go up. It went up. We got a banger. Be grateful. And that's the only way that I can, and I'm not calling, by saying that, I'm not calling anybody ungrateful. I'm just saying that what helps me is having perspective, guys. We are in a really crazy economic time, and I promise you, I've seen more homeless tents in the last 2 years popping up in most major cities. In the last 3 years, even. I mean, it's been going on forever. It's insane. People are struggling, and $50-$60 is a lot to get people by. So walking away with $77, that's groceries for 3-4 days. I remember using $77 to shop for groceries and being able to get through 5 or 6 days, or maybe 4 or 5 days, on about $100 to $77. So having a bit of perspective, and even if you haven't been there, you don't have to go there to realize those things. You just have to know that it exists. Oftentimes just talking or knowing people and hearing those stories obviously can bring perspective as well, but it is obviously something to implement into your system. Number 6 is be organized. Now I have struggled with this one. Number 1, I have struggled with organization to the point where my thoughts are quite disorganized, which is obviously a product of my general ADHD. But organization as far as cleanliness, right? I'm actually really happy with in my last house. We thought we were going to go with the buy an old house route, and we found that that's probably not going to be what we live in while we fix it. Obviously having kids, but it just feels dirty when you've got holes in your floors, even if they're just gaps in my floors. For me, that stuff just aesthetically, it bothers me. It catches dirt. That was a minor thing, but it casts, like, having a clean environment, an organized environment to feel good in matters. and it's worth implementing in your system. You should start a podcast. Thank you. Is the war happening, guys? I don't know. Go check. Go check and go. You know, YouTube, they actually have a Ukraine stream. If you just want a career change, then do what you're doing now and utilize when you make a decent gain or you hit a target. If you can start back over, do that, but it's going to be a slow grind. I promise you guys that if you can just see and here's the thing, the harsh reality for me was that when I first started off, I was having a hard time with some health issues, holding down a job, and so I was actually finding stride and trading and stuff like that, and I was using it as my income. So I would make $6,000 out of 300, and then it's gone because I've got an ass load of bills. So you know, at the end of the day, yeah. So when did I start? Well, everything that I've done has always been in bits and pieces until I feel like my tires have traction. So with stocks, I've been reading about them, and obviously you guys know I've been to jail, from when I was in jail. But when I finally got into them, was about, 3 or 4 years ago, and then full-time trading, or trade, not full-time trading, but actually trading options and being successful took about a year and a half, 2 years. And that's kind of when I felt that I was, and that's, I was still struggling, guys, when I was finding my stride. I was just able to pay the bills. I was looking at my overall performance, and I said to myself, I need to be able to compound this however I can, because I clearly can do it with 5. If I can have a little bit more capital under my belt, I can scale my strategy up and just do the same thing with just a little bit more equity. So, did you get roughed up in there? Oh, why did I go to jail? I went to jail for a cannabis joint in the backwoods of Georgia when I was 19 years old. I got pulled over. The officer told me to take 9 steps and turn around. I took 10 perfect steps, and he told me he had to take me to jail. Even there was really nothing else that he could, pen the DUI on me. He just obviously knew that I had the stuff on me, and my eyes are pretty deep set. So I do, if you guys saw a picture of me, and I honestly feel like sometimes it's worth pulling up, right? Just so that I can show people that my eyes have always looked like this, no matter what I look like, or what age. I was in middle school getting accused of, and I, at that point, you were not there. No. But no, I have. I now I'm kind of want to find it. But yeah, so anyway, I got pulled over, ended up doing getting sentenced to 2 years, and I became a trustee and worked my way out of it. So, but anyway, yes, I did get roughed up in there. I got jumped. If you guys see, there's a post about me, or a post somebody made making fun of my teeth. But in all actuality, somebody, don't be embarrassed for being high. Shut up. But somebody did kick my teeth into a metal bench, and busted out broke most of my lower back teeth. So yes, I know I believe that everybody should learn about the strat. So but anyway, sorry, short detours. Yeah, I did 2 years. Anyway, so we're gonna move on. Sorry, I just took you guys to jail. Now I'm gonna get you out. Is this the pep talk in the Discord? What do you mean? So this is a big one, guys. A really, really big one as far as designing a trading system. And you have to really think about it. You got to put some work into it. You got to put some thought into it. You got to reflect and organize yourself, right? So if you're disorganized, you're not going to be able to find a plan that works with your personality and availability, because you don't know your availability, right? Have a plan that works with your personality and your availability. So this is where personal growth, and I don't want to become a Dr. Phil type character right now, but personal growth is integral, right? You got some things you want to improve on, some things you've been self-reflective of, being honest with yourself about things that you're struggling. Are you, and guys, I've met with thousands, I can say thousands of people now, whether it's via one-on-ones or just talking to people. I mean, hundreds of thousands of people if you consider the streams, but just in interactions online and elsewhere, you know, thousands of people. And the one thing that I notice is the way what you, and I'm not trying not to sound like a hippie here, but like, it's true. What you speak has a lot to do with what happens in your life and your trading career too. You don't think it's going to work out? I promise you it won't. And it's just that simple. If you don't believe that you're going to accomplish your goal, which is another thing that you have to do, right? You got to know if you don't aim at if you don't aim at anything, you don't hit anything. So you have to have a target. But oh Lord, I just lost my train of thought. But having that availability, or knowing how you're going to react in certain situations, what you project out there as you're trading, or just in your everyday life, is worth observing. Again, are you a negative Nancy? Are you thinking of the worst possible outcome first? I'm not telling anybody to change who you are in order to trade. But if you're thinking of the worst possible outcome, then it's going to be harder to maintain a positive attitude and not take these losses personally. So who you are as a person, what you've gone through, has everything to do with what's going on. I have seen people scream and cry, and I have borderline done it too during the process, where I wanted so badly to free myself with every play that I took after I hit a couple of big ones that changed my trading style and left me disorganized, which then left me not sticking to my plan, which then left me losing all of my money, where I started getting really frustrated, which it sometimes has to happen for certain people. But if you're, and not to pick on people who are negative, but if you're delusionally positive, right? Hopeful, attachment, right? Getting attached to certain tickers, getting attached, and I'm guilty of it. But emotionally, not so much. Getting stuck to certain sentiments, yes. I'm definitely guilty of it. But getting stuck to like AMD is going to go up. That's what I mean. AMD is going to go up. It has to. There's no. It's okay. This news article came out. It's got to go up. Look at it. Like no. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Those type of and it'll kill your spirit. It'll crush you, and that's why the less exposure, the better. But being aware of your emotional state, who you are, how you operate, how you react, right? Which takes a little bit of honesty. It's the hardest thing to do. My initial reaction is always anger, frustration, always. I've struggled with anger, you know, like just in my personal life, you know, like growing up, I had a frustrating upbringing, and obviously there's some going to jail was pretty frustrating. And so these things obviously were things that I had to be real with myself, and still have to, about certain situations that I put myself in when I have nobody to be mad at but myself. So anyway, that's, and I could talk about the personality aspect of this all night, but moving on, availability. If you have 15 minutes in the morning and the risk management and the attitude and the organization, you can trade the bell. You can trade in the first 5 minutes. You can trade the opening, use good risk. You set an entry, exit, stop loss, enter, scale out, out. Hotkeys are integral, but that would fit your availability. Are you somebody who only has an hour in the afternoon and about an hour in the morning? Swing trading sounds pretty good to me. Are you somebody who doesn't go, maybe the time difference doesn't have you going to work until maybe 10:30, 11 o'clock? Well, you could probably wait the first 15 minutes and take a day trade and be out before 10:30, 11 o'clock Eastern time. So when your trade doesn't work, do you go back to see what you did wrong? Absolutely. People who have positive thoughts while gambling are more likely to win. If that's just a statistic, then I absolutely believe it. I had, and I try not to get like emotional or anything like that, but like I had to be hopeful when I really didn't have much to hope for. And I don't mean to sound dramatic with that, but like there were points during this journey where the remaining part of my family no longer, because of my indifference to one half of my family, no longer wanted to speak to me, and I had moved all the way across the country to just be with them. Or finding out that, getting a 23andMe and finding out my whole family split apart. Like a lot of these things, can a lot of these things can sorry, I thought that said something else. A lot of these things can affect you, and I think at some point I made a decision that bad things are going to happen all the time regardless, and it's really the attitude that I have about it and my goals on what is the deciding factor on whether I'm going to get out of this situation or not. And I've always had a positive attitude, but I didn't have any aim. And so when I started to aim and started to have a positive attitude, and not a delusional belief that I was going to make it, but I knew that I was going to make it just because I was going to work my ass off. I was going to put in the work. It didn't matter what it was. I was going, just like I had always done. I usually, like put a lot of work in, kind of gave it my all. And I found that when I was working for other people, that was really, really appreciated. But when I did it for myself, I realized that I was actually gaining ground, and that was kind of groundbreaking for me. So, all right, so that's kind of it. There is the back testing till you get a solid system. Obviously self-explanatory, and rigorously follow the final system diligently. So these are all things to keep in mind. So anyway, that is your necessary mindset for designing a trading system. And if you didn't catch that on TikTok, you can go to YouTube and catch it there, and rewind it and write it down or whatever you guys want. So and I don't mean to get, obviously, I don't want to disclose like my whole life story, but I try and give you guys personal examples because I'm a real dude with a real life. You guys are real people with real lives. And what happens in our real life affects what we do. So, showing that aspect of it, it's obviously pretty important. So, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. You guys, join me in the morning on YouTube. I will try to be up a little bit early, possibly hop on TikTok and Discord, just in the members channel, so that way you guys can hop on and talk to me. It depends on if I get a call tomorrow about this car. But otherwise, you guys have a good night. I appreciate you guys checking out the stream, hanging out with me, and we will see you in the morning. So, streaming on YouTube tomorrow, yes. Yeah, of course. Make sure to go subscribe to the YouTube channel, guys. Go follow the social medias. All our social media accounts in the link. So, not a problem. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Peace out. Bye bye now.